Yeah, boy.
What's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at pistols. The one-shot, high-damage guns that found their way into Outward and somehow feel great. It can be hard to mesh that fantasy melee combat with something as modern as a pistol, but Outward somehow makes it very fun and reasonably balanced at the same time. Pistols deal ridiculous damage, but take ages to reload, meaning you can't easily fire more than one bullet in a single fight. Obviously it is possible, but it isn't super easy. And what's even better about them is that they quickly apply status effects. Fire, or burning in particular, is pretty great, as one bullet burns the enemy and cuts down their health. This is a great style of combat that can really shake up a build. But what are the best pistols? As with most weapon types, there are many options to choose from, but there always seems to be a few that stand out. So here you are, the top 5 pistols in Outward Definitive Edition. At number 5, we have the Cannon Pistol. This is my personal favorite pistol, as it's the most useful from early game until the end. It lacks a bit of damage, but it has the most impact of all the pistols, with 100 impact per shot. Oh, and the greatest part of it is the instant infliction of confusion. I've talked about confusion many times, but it's one of the best things to place on an enemy, making them much weaker to knock back. The cannon pistol can be found really early on in Levant and hits harder than most other attacks you can find. And I know you might be worried about lower damage, but if you use something like Frost Bullet, it kills either way, just from the elemental damage. The cannon pistol should honestly be ranked number 1 in terms of usefulness, and it feels fun to shoot with loads of knockback in every single shot. The massive barrel really feels like a one-handed cannon. Pretty darn cool. At number 4, we have the Vigilante Pistol. You'll need to loot a Militia Pistol from Caldera and throw it into a Legacy chest to get this variant, but it's totally worth it. It deals 90 impact, which is just under the cannon pistol, and the second best impact from pistols altogether. But this one comes with 90 damage. Massive physical hits that cut right to the heart of your enemies. This is actually the most damage you can get in a pistol, and with high impact as well, it's a force to be reckoned with. Oh, and we still aren't done yet. It grants the wielder 2 protection. Just a bit more defense in case you get caught off guard. Don't ask me how a pistol protects a hit to the head, but hey, I'll take it. Oh, and it inflicts crippled. Now, the bad thing is this is only a 60% buildup, so you need to get 2 shots off before this comes into play. But after doing so, your enemy will be 50% slower, which could give you some needed time to reload or do whatever else you need to. The no instant infliction is a bit annoying, I know, but if you play your cards right, you can massively slow your opponent for 10 seconds, which is a long time when in combat. Enough time to matter, that is. At number 3, we have the Obsidian Pistol and Meteoric Pistol. I grouped these two together because the Meteoric is the legacy version of the Obsidian Pistol. Both do similar things, fire and physical damage, while goofing around with the amounts a bit. The reason these are so strong is they have great damage over time effects. Shoot the Obsidian Pistol 1 single bullet and instant burning. No need to get close to enemies whatsoever. You can set them on fire and run. The Meteoric also pairs well with this if you want to double up. It will inflict Holy Blaze, dealing 6 lightning damage per second. A ridiculously unfair amount of elemental power that kills stuff rapidly. Again, however, this version only builds up at around 60% buildup, so it takes 2 shots, and the enemy must be burning for Holy Blaze to take effect. Which is a very circumstantial outcome, but trust me, this works wonders if you set it up that way. I think it's a little dumb for this type of weapon to need 2 separate hits to inflict a status, but then again, instant burning is already crazy strong, so I'm sure it was hard to balance. Both of these are great due to status buildup, but also plain old damage. Never bad options if you're looking for something fun. At number 2, we have the Cage Pistol, and to preface this beforehand, I hate this thing. I see its merit, which is why I respected its place on this list, but it's not the perfect boss weapon I wanted it to be. This is a boss item, which means it's going to be more late game, but again, legacy chesting exists, so you could get it pretty early if you wanted to. It deals the 90 physical damage of the best pistols and hits with 75 impact, which is very high. Essentially, it's a cannon pistol with more focus on damage. Decent enough already to be on the list. Plus, it inflicts weaken and sapped at the same time, which weakens your enemy's attacks by 40%. All attacks deal almost half as much damage to you. Very useful. Sadly, there is always a downside. The buildup of these two status effects is 100% for sapped and only 90% for weaken. So one bullet reduces damage taken to elemental attacks, and then another bullet must be shot for the physical reduction. It's so odd, and again, it's just for balance reasons, but it feels off. Luckily, elemental damage is the more concerning damage type when you're playing ranged, so it's always helpful. Just one of those things that doesn't feel quite right, even though there's no better way to do it. Great option for any ranged build still, and could make a tank build suffer a lot less, which is nice. The number one best pistol in Outward is the Chimera pistol, the most interesting pistol in the game that deals 90 physical damage and 70 impact. You can get it from the smuggler in the slums after doing a bit of questing, firstly paying Pigeon Eye, and it inflicts elemental vulnerability at 100% buildup, which means one single bullet makes enemies 25% weaker to all elemental damage. You don't even have to main guns to get use out of this. Load a bullet up and shoot at the start of a fight to get the affliction on. Then switch offhands and go at it. The difference in damage with this ailment on your enemies is remarkably noticeable, and the pistol itself still does high damage. This is by far the easiest way to inflict the best status effect in the game. You can do this with a shield as well, and several other weapons, but the pistol requires you to merely press lock on and hit the fire button. Crazy easy to do. Pistols usually strive from assisting your main weapon, unless you go full 6 pistols. You apply something to give you extra time in the fight or a bit of damage over time. The Chimera pistol gives you more damage. It's as simple as that. And sometimes, that's all it takes to make an enemy go from hard to easy. Elemental vulnerability is super useful, and the Chimera pistol is easily the best way to apply it. Pistols are a bit more simple to talk about as they do one thing: shoot. And then reload, and then shoot again. But the different stats and statuses you can get on them matters a lot. Something like the cannon pistol seems so simple and early game, but is extremely useful in every situation. Take a look at these 5 pistols next time you want to mess with guns. Each might surprise you in how unique and powerful they are. Enjoy shooting your way through the wild, and I'll catch you next time.